morning. I'm Linda, Pinky Mouse Sisters in the kitchen. And for those of you who don't know, that lighting looks dark to me, but I guess it's okay. Between now and the holidays, at least for now, Mary and I are going to be doing one cooking show by ourselves each week. So I'm doing one today. She's at home working. Carla is on the other end monitoring, and little Linda is working on behind the scenes stuff. So welcome to our program, and I hope that y'all like what I'm going to do today. You know, you never know how these things are going to turn out, and especially when you're by yourself. But thank you very much for joining, and thank y'all for watching my sister the other day make her mac and cheese bites. They look delicious, and I didn't get any of them, but I'm certainly going to taste them next time she makes them. So I just wanted to talk just a minute. I've already got my cookies baked because I didn't want to have to go through that. I just wanted to actually do the decorating. And I'm not a huge fan of royal icing, but it is kind of fun to work with, and sometimes it's hit and miss, and you never know how a lot of programs going to go. So we're just going to have fun, and I hope y'all enjoy it, you know, and whatever mistakes I make, we'll just laugh together with it. But first of all, before we start, I want to show y'all something. I cleaned out, well, actually Mike and I both did. He helped. Our closet this weekend, and I didn't get everything done that I wanted to do, but I did get the closet cleaned out, and I got the dresser and the chest of drawers cleaned out, which yielded a lot of bags of giveaways. And I want to show you a couple of things that I knew they were in the closet, but Mama always loved dolls, and now she didn't make this doll, but she made the clothes. And I want to show y'all this. I got lots of little, and you can see she's got on little underwear. Of course, the shoes and the socks she didn't make. But she was always making something. Mother was such a crafty person, just like Mary is. I didn't get that from either one of them. I can sew enough to get something put together, a skirt that I can wear, but I haven't sewed in a long, long time other than just little handkerchief projects. I love to embroidery. That's what I like to do. But I haven't done that in a long time either. As you get older and your hands have arthritis in them, it's a little harder to do things than it used to be. But Mama, even in her last years, she could thread some of the tiniest little beads. I don't even know how she picked them up. She could pick them up and thread them and make some of the most beautiful things. But this is just a little heart print, just a little simple heart print dress. And she's got little pins on the back of it. Mama did that a lot. She did buttonholes and buttons, but she also did the little pins. So she's got that on there. And so I wanted to show y'all this. And then the other thing that I wanted to show y'all was one year she made these for us. And if you can see on there, it says Cobweb Sisters. This is a duster to dust with. It's on a long dowel. And I'm going to put this over there a little closer. I never used mine. I just couldn't bring myself to use it because it was so cute. She's got the little tiny eyes up here. And the little 5 sisters, Cobweb Sisters. And it's to get, my bow is kind of crooked. But I have taken things apart to wash that Mama made, but I just hate to touch anything to rearrange or take anything apart because I know her hands were the last ones that touched it. So I think it's just a glove. It's a workman's glove. She's got it stuffed with polyester, and then she's got the little clothes, the little faces, and the little hair on them, and the eyes, and little ribbons in their hair. So I wanted to show y'all this. I have literally got dozens and dozens and dozens of things that Mama's made, but this is just a couple things that I thought I would take out and show y'all. So I'm going to give my hands a quick wash, and then we'll get started making the cookie icing. So I do want to show y'all these cookie cutters. I bought these last year at the end of the year. They're kind of large. They're Christmas ones. And I'm going to be decorating some of them later on, a little bit closer to Christmas. But they're really big, and this is too big of a cookie for a kid. But I think they would look really pretty on a platter for like an office party, or like if you have a ladies' party at church or something. It's a gingerbread, a snowman, a Santa Claus hat, a reindeer, and a Santa Claus. So I'm anxious to use these and see how these turn out. But we're not working with this today. We're going to do some candy corn. And y'all, let me get my hands washed. We're going to do some candy corn and some pumpkins and a couple of leaves. Now, one reason that I don't like decorating royal icing on cookies is because most of the cookies that you use to decorate, if y'all have seen them in the stores, or if you've bought them, ordered some, and I'm not dissing anybody. Everybody has their own, you know, their own likes and dislikes. I don't like those cookies. To me, they have no taste whatsoever to them. So I like to do mine just a sugar cookie or shortbread. That's another really good idea. Use my shortbread recipe instead of cut them in squares. Use a cookie cutter to score them, and then when it comes out of the oven, cut it with that cookie cutter. But you have to do it right after it comes out of the oven with shortbread. This is a sugar cookie recipe. It's on the back of, I made a couple alterations, but it's on the back of Imperial Sugar. And by the way, I am using Imperial Sugar today. I cooked 3 pans of these yesterday. I chilled them. I chilled the cookie sheets. They still ran. You know how a cookie will spread? They still spread. Well, I'm going to give you a little tip on that. When they do that and they come out where they're not the shape that you cut them out in, take your cookie cutter, and I'll get the scraps over there. And this has to be done pretty quick after they come out of the oven. Cut it, and then you'll have the shape you want, which that's a candy corn. And then I have some pumpkins, a couple of different shapes, actually 3 different shapes of pumpkins, and then a couple of maple leaves. So I'll show you the scraps that I have over here that that I did. So what I do, you can see there, you can't see on all of them, but you can see where I cut that pumpkin out. Just press it down hard to make sure it goes all the way through. Don't take it up. Cut it when it first comes out of the oven, but don't take it up, because if you do, it'll tear. But you can see, that's a little leaf I left on there, but you can see there's the shape of the maple leaf that I cut out. And then you got some scraps to eat for snack. So don't fret if your cookies run. There's always a way to save them. You just have to make sure that you cut them right after you get it out of the oven. So this is just a basic royal icing recipe. You can find it anywhere for our members. I do have mine on our page, or at least I better back up. I don't know if little Linda's got it on there yet or not, but I did send it to her, so she'll have it on there soon. So this is using, there's 2 ways to make royal icing. You can make it with real egg whites. I'm a very stickler on anything that might ruin, so I don't use real egg whites. If you're going to use them, make sure they're pasteurized. You don't want to get anybody sick around the holidays or any other time, but I prefer using meringue powder. And this is just sunny side up. I got this at Hobby Lobby. You can get the Wilton in a bigger container. This is just the one that I knew where it was, and I didn't have to dig through totes to find my other. But this keeps, and you can keep it in the container. And if you'll notice, it's kind of has a yellowish tint to it. It is really, really fine. It's almost like cornstarch, except it's not white. It's got a little yellow tint to it. So I can smell it. This is also something that you can use to stabilize buttercream icing. You can put some of this in there, and it would depend on how much you were making, but this is a stabilizer that you can use. So it's something good to have around in your pantry, and you don't have to worry about it ruining because it's, you know, it's powder. So it's not going to ruin if you don't use it all the first time. So I'm going to start with 1/4 cup. And it's going to be some noise because I'm going to have the mixer on. But I'm going to start with 1/4 cup and 1/2 cup of cold water. And I don't mean it doesn't have to be cold. It's kind of like room temperature. And I'm just using my small KitchenAid mixer today. I didn't think I needed my big one, so I'm going to use this one. And hopefully this won't be too loud for y'all. It's going to probably go about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. You're just going to beat it until it gets kind of stiff. Oops, I didn't get a spatula. Grab a spatula. I'll wipe my sides down. Now I've got a beater that's got the spatula on the edge, but I'm going to use this wire beater to beat this because I want to mix it. So first I missed Mary a little into today, but we're just doing this just so we can try our best to get as many recipes to y'all as possible between now and I'll get closer over here. Maybe y'all can, that mixer won't be so loud. Between now and the holidays. So let me just move this back a little bit. Oh, okay. So Diane, you did cookie cutouts over the weekend. How fun. It's always so fun to decorate cookies with kiddos. I love setting up a cookie station. It's something that we do every once in a while with the kids at Christmas. You know, kids get bored so easy, especially little kids. And you can get really cheap plastic tablecloths at the dollar store and just cover a table and set up a little tray for each kid. And if you use paper plates and paper cups and stuff, or paper bowls, it makes the cleanup a lot easier. I use bowls. And I have some actual little bowls that I could put this icing in, but it just makes it so much easier to just clean it up, just throw, you know, just for cleanup, just throw it out. The stabilizer is meringue powder. And this is Sunny Side Up. This comes in many brands. You can get Wilton. You can order it off Amazon. This container here was $4.99. I'm not sure if that's the price now or not because I didn't buy this in the last week or two. But I'll show you. It's kind of a yellowish color. Okay, so I've got this over here to where it's kind of peaks. And I'm going to show it to y'all. See if y'all can see it. It basically looks like an egg white. Now you don't have to wait until it gets stiff peaks. You just want to get it. You just want peaks with it. So you can see there that this is kind of like if you were beating egg whites, except it's the powder. Okay, so now I'm going to add. I'm going to go ahead and add some powdered sugar, and I've got 4 cups of imperial powdered sugar. Mary sifts hers. I didn't sift this. It's really fresh. And Imperial tends to be really good powdered sugar. It doesn't have lumps in it. But I'm going to put it in about, I'm going to add it about a cup at a time. Now, if you got old powdered sugar or you got some that you can tell has got lumps in it, go ahead and sift it. It'll be worth it in the long run. So I'm just going to pour this in. I don't have a flour guard for this mixer. So I'm going to start this on low and just kind of pour it in here. I won't powdered sugar splattered all over everywhere. So when you're mixing something, always start it on low, and then you can always put the speed up, turn the speed up afterwards, but you want to at least get some of it mixed in there together. We had a couple inches of rain over the weekend, which we so desperately needed. I just thank God that we got the rain. We had such a dry year, and basically, as a rule, October is our driest month of the year. But because we have just been in a drought, like a lot of other places have been, this year has been extremely dry. I noticed one of our farmer friends, John, up in Arkansas, he said they got more rain, I believe he said yesterday, than they'd had in a long time. And I always think about the farmers that either whether they're ranchers with cattle or they're farming crops, which I know this is not the year for crops, but hay and stuff like that. It's a hardship, a very hardship on farmers and ranchers, because they have to feed their cattle, they have to feed their livestock. The hay prices and everything have just skyrocketed, just like everything else, and that's what makes grocery prices go higher. That and fuel and a lot of other things that come into play. And Lord knows we know that groceries are out of sight right now. They're just, seems like every time you go to the store, things that you paid one thing for twice that much, and it makes you feel really bad for people that you know that just cannot afford it. And I'm a very frugal person. I always have been. I guess I get that from my mama, but you know, I'm at a place right now that I can pretty much go and get what I want. I might not always can, but for the most part I can. But even that, it doesn't make me want to splurge, because I know that you still have to be very careful. And I don't mean I got a big bank account. I don't have a big bank account. Won't never have a big bank account, so I like to give stuff away too much. But okay, this is pretty thick, and I'm going to show y'all. So you can tell this is really thick. Now this is too thick to do cookies with, but we're gonna fix that. But first of all, I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to add some flavoring, and if you want part of your cookie icing white, don't use dark vanilla. Use a clear vanilla. This is Watkins, and there used to be a lot of stores that carried this years ago, but there are still a lot of Watkins dealers. And where I bought this at the Henderson, I think it was a syrup festival last year. We went, and there was a booth set up with Watkins. They're very good products. And this is not extract. It is, you know, it does have some blends in with it, but it's really good. And if you want a clear, Wilton also makes a clear. It smells really nice, but it's not completely extract. So I'm going to get a teaspoon here, and because I do want some of this, well, I'm not going to get a teaspoon because I don't have a teaspoon out, but I'll measure. This is half a tablespoon, and I'll pour a little bit in here, because you want to flavor this icing, because I'm going to actually put a half a tablespoon in it. It calls for a teaspoon, but because this is not extract, I'm going to put a little bit more in it, just to give it a little bit of flavor. Now, if you're coloring your icing and you're going to color it all, it's not going to matter if you put the real stuff in it, and I definitely would recommend doing that. But if you want it white and you're just using white, like to decorate a snowman or something, then you would put the clear in it. There's my teaspoon. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in this to thin it down a little bit. And I'm going to do a teaspoon at a time. And that's one thing about royal icing. You can always thin it down, but you can't thicken it. So don't just pour a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons in, because it might wind up being too thin. I'm going to put 1 more teaspoon in, and then I'm going to take it out and color it. Put it in some bags and we're going to color it. I'll color some of it. So I'm going to get some of this out of my way here. Okay. You probably wouldn't think it would take that long to do icing for cookies, but it does take a little minute to do it. And I'm going to do some cups over here to fold the bags back. These are my cups I used to measure to make peanut brittle. We'll talk about that another time, but I've had these cups for years. Okay, so the bags that I use, you can get cheap bags. Some people use parchment. I don't recommend folding parchment because it's going to come loose and you're going to have cookie icing everywhere. I'm going to sit down. There's a cheaper brand. There's I think it's Sugar Belle. I love Sugar Belle. Now there are some Sugar Belles that the seams come open, but they're basically a good bag. This is Wilton, and that's usually what I use. These are 12-inch bags, and my box is empty, so I've got to add that to my grocery list. So I'm going to, whoops, I only got out 3 bags. I'm not going to use a coupler. This is going to be really thin icing when I do the flooding. But if you were doing something heavy like buttercream, I would suggest to use a coupler. You get these in a package of 4. Usually at Walmart or Hobby Lobby, they're very inexpensive. I probably got 30 of them. They have more than that. But I'm just going to use, the tip. And in the instructions, I believe I said a number 2 tip. You can use a number 2 or a number 3. And something else too. I got this little eyedropper out because when you put your icing in the bowls and you add your coloring, if it's too thick, you can put this in your water and just get a little water at a time, because trust me, you can add water to this and it will get running really, really fast. So I got this out so I can have that. So I'm just going to add a tip. And I believe these are number 2s. One of them may be a number 3. I don't know. I'm going to push it down to the end. Oops, I put my scissors up, so I'll have to get those back out. I'm going to do 3 colors. Actually, I need more than 3 bags, but I only got 3 out, so we'll just do the 3. And I'll decorate some after I get through, and I can take a picture and show y'all those. Now I have a color, an airbrush color machine. Mike bought me one year. Haven't used it in a long time. I was gonna get it out to show y'all how to do some shadows and things, but they're not cheap, even though they're cheaper than they used to be years ago. And I figured most people wouldn't have that equipment in your home unless you're a serious cookier. And if you're a serious cookier, you're probably not going to learn anything from me anyway. But, and I don't claim to be an expert on cookie decorating. I just like to do it for fun. So I've got this pushed down, but I got to get my scissors back out. I thought I was through with them, to cut the tips off. And you want to be careful about this because you don't want to, I'm going to cut just probably about 1/8 of an inch off, just a tiny bit on that end. And these little plastic things have a tend to wind up in your icing, so make sure you put those somewhere where they're not going to get in your icing. That wasn't enough. I'm going to have to cut off just a tiny bit more. Now some of these bags are marked. Some brands, Sugar Belle is marked if you have the coupler in there. you'll notice this one has lines. That's where you're not supposed to overfill it. So I gotta get just a tiny bit more off of this one, and I'll try to do a better job the next one that I do. So what you want to do is you want to get that pushed down where that tip is clear of that bag. Turn it back like this. Put it in your bag. That way you can fill it without a lot of mess. Okay, so I'm gonna cut a little bit more off of this one to start with. Let's see if we can get it a little bit closer. I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna put the coupler in one. It seems like this is not working as well without the coupler. So with the coupler, you're gonna have to cut off more because it's bigger at the end. But I'm gonna go ahead and put there. So if you're using a coupler, put the unscrew the cap and put this on there, and then you're going to need to cut off probably, I'll tell you in a minute. You can see the plastics on the end. Then you take your tip, put that on top, and then screw your cap back on. Now, you want to be careful about this. If you've never done this, don't cut off too much. If you do, your tip is not going to stay on. So be careful with that. Some people just use a Ziploc baggie and cut the end of it off. And if you were just going to do this just 1 or 2 times, then you might be okay with that. But I don't like using a Ziploc baggie. I prefer the piping bags. They're not that expensive, and to me, it's just best. So here's your tip right here. I'm gonna cut off probably about 1.25 inches off of this. Put my coupler in. That wasn't quite enough. You can mark these actually before you cut them. If you figure it out, mark your other bags. So I probably cut off close to 1.5 inches on here. All right, I got all these little plastic pieces. I want them out of the way. And this cup is a little smaller, so I'm gonna have to fold down lower. Okay, so I got my cups ready. Let me move this. Okay, so now I'm going to put some icing in the bowls, and I want 3 bowls. Some of it I'm going to leave white because we're going to do the tips of the candy corn cookie. We're going to leave the tip white and the middle, I think it's the middle yellow and the end is orange. I should know as much of that stuff as I've eaten before, but okay. I'm just going to do, let's see, I'm just going to do a little bit in the white. That'll be my white. Now you see this made quite a bit of icing. This is going to be the orange because I'm going to use more orange because I'm going to do the pumpkin. And then I need a little bit of yellow. And I didn't get my plastic wrap either. So I'm going to get my plastic wrap out and cover this bowl or cover this mixer because you want to keep this covered. Y'all just bear with me here. I'm going to get some of this out of the way. Whoops, sorry I shook that. You can also cover this with like a damp cloth. So we'll move that out of the way. Now this is going to be my white, so I'm going to put that there. I've got orange and I've got yellow. And this is the food color gel. You don't want to use the liquid. This is very inexpensive. I think it's a couple of dollars a bottle. If you're really serious about cake decorating and everything, or cookie decorating, these come in bigger containers. In fact, I've got a white one here that's really big. But for the most part, when you're doing, you just need small ones. This one is a little bit runnier than that, so I won't have to use much of it. This is orange, and this is Sunny Side Up. There's a lot of weeks that you can get this 40 or 50% off at Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to stir this with popsicle sticks or craft sticks. And I'm probably going to need some more water in this. So I just did like one little eyedropper. And what they tell you to do is follow the 20-second or the 5, 10, or 15-second rule. See, this is not even dropping back down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and use a teaspoon of water. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. For it to be the right flooding consistency, it should fall back down into the icing. You can count. Some people say 5, some people say 10, some people say 15. But see, it's still not falling back down there. So teaspoon at a time on your water till you get this the right consistency. Now it takes patience, so you can't just do this. Now see, this is falling, but it's still not thin enough. But before I add more water, I'm going to go ahead and add my orange color gel, and I'm going to do 3 drops. You just squeeze it. And again, you can always add more color if it's not the color you want. And I probably will add more color because I want it to be a real pretty orange. And if y'all, in case you're wondering why I'm using popsicle sticks or craft sticks, this stuff, when it dries, it hardens, and it just takes a minute to clean up. So see, this is still not at the consistency I want it. So I'm gonna add about 3 more drops. So this is gonna be 6 drops. Whoops, I didn't get much in that drop. I'm gonna add another one. 6 drops of food gel. And I may add more because I want it to be a bright orange. And you can see that this is, because I'm putting this in there. So this is that 3 times I added the drops to it. It's getting darker. And your pale colors, you can get them done really quick. But if you want a deep color, you're going to have to keep adding your color gel until you get the right color. Like reds and blacks and deep purples, it takes a lot of the color gel to get the color you want. So I'm going to add 3 more. So I think this is going to be 12 drops that I've added, unless I lost count. And 2, it depends on how much icing you put in your bowl. If you put half this amount, then you're not going to need as much color gel as I've done in this one. All right, I'm going to put some more water in it. I believe this is 3 teaspoons of water that I've added, if I've kept up with it. Now, if you want to use spoons, you can use spoons. It's just, the popsicle stick doesn't quite stir like a spoon, but you can see now it's getting runnier. And what the seconds is, you want to make sure that this dissolves back in the icing and gets smooth within 15 seconds. So it's almost there. I'm going to add a little bit more color, and that was pretty big, 2 pretty big drops. So we'll count that as 3. So I believe that's 15 drops that I've added in here. I told y'all it takes patience. It still hasn't quite gone back down in the icing, so I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of water. So this is 3.5 teaspoons. I believe I may have to go back and watch the video, but I believe that was 3.5 teaspoons of water that I mixed in with it. Okay, now we're getting there. You'll see that it's going back smooth and the icing is going back smooth. So this one is ready. So we're going to set this one aside. I'm going to need some more water. Now this one is going to be yellow. This is thin, so it's probably going to incorporate a lot quicker. That's 6 drops. I believe that was 6. Maybe that was only 5. Okay. I don't have very much icing in here, so this one is not going to take any more coloring. See, I had about probably 1/3 of the icing in there than I had in the other. Now I'm going to add some water because it's too thick. Whoops. A clean apron. Uh-oh, Mike's going to have to wash it. He just washed it. Okay, need some more water. I'm really splattering this. You ever notice when people are decorating something how they get quiet because they get concentrating really, really good? I had planned to talk about how Mike and I got married, but I guess I'm concentrating too much on my stuff. Okay, this is good. I don't need to add anything else to that. So you'll see when I took that in there, it goes right back into the icing and gets smooth just in a matter of seconds. So we're done with that. And then we just need to thin down our white icing. Make sure when you get these bottles that you close this tip all the way. If you don't, when you put it back in your, whatever your container is, it's gonna be color gel everywhere, and you don't want that. So let's thin this down. And this is not a lot in here either. So this won't take long to thin this. And see, it's not going at all. This is just a really good way to do this. If you've always been intimidated by something like this, just follow the steps and just add your water a little at a time, and it's not near as hard as what you might think. Okay, this is good. So it didn't take long for that. So we'll set this aside and get this out of the way. Now I need my little scribe tool here, so I'm going to leave it out here on my plate. And if y'all wonder what this is, it's called scribe, but if you don't have one of these, you can use a toothpick. It does the same thing. It's just, you know, when you're used to baking, you have all these things that everybody might not have in their household unless they just specifically bought stuff to decorate cookies. But I learned a long time ago that you do not have to have a lot of fancy stuff to do something fun like this. So I'm going to, let's do the white in this bag. I'm just going to pour this in the bag here. I'm going to have a spoon or spatula to get all this out, but for right now, I'm just going to leave it like this. Put this aside. This is why you want a bigger bag. You don't want to. Whoops, I knew it was going to do that. It starts running out immediately. So let me get, actually need another tray to set these on. I'm going to do the tip, the white first. Let me grab another tray here. Okay. So I'm going to probably should have put some paper towel under this. Now you can put a rubber band on this or put a piece of paper towel on the bottom, but I'm going to just now you can see that I messed up on this right here to start with. Then you're just going to fill it in. And you can take your little tool here and drag the icing over to those empty spots. You can drag it closer to the end if you want to. You can probably pretty much do it however you want to do it. Okay, I'm going to do like 4 so we can go ahead and get the rest of them on here. Because you want to line your outside first. Hold your bag up straight. I'm doing all the same colors first. Now this doesn't matter how you're doing this because it's going to smooth and fill in those little empty places there. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to give your cookie just a little shake. Now, royal icing will get air bubbles in it, but there's a way to prevent that. You can let your icing set a little, which I didn't let this set much, but you can let it set 10 or 15 minutes. You can shake the bowl. You can shake the cookie. You can pop an air bubble with your scribe pen or toothpick. Either one does the same thing. This stuff is sticky. So we're going to do the yellow next. I hope I'm doing this right. I think yellow's in the middle. I hope I'm not wrong. I think it is. Okay, now we're going to do another bag with yellow. Where's my yellow popsicle stick? I hope this is not boring, y'all. This is something that I absolutely love doing, is decorating cakes and cookies. And again, you know, I'm not a professional. I've never had any kind of professional training. It's just, I've just done it for years, and you learn by trial and error. And I certainly have made plenty of errors, and probably will today. But it's fun, and it's so fun to do with the kids. It's just, It's just something that I just love to do. Little kids are arts, you know, they like art, and they like doing stuff like this. We've done it here at my house, and we've done it at Mary's at Christmas, where we just set up a station and just let the kids just just decorate it however they want to. And I think that's the whole thing about it. You're not trying to tell them, do it this, do it that way. Kids are smart. They're a lot smarter than they were when we grew up, because there's so much more teaching tools available for children, more so than it was when we were kids. So they pick up on this very fast. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do the next one, yellow. You just want to shake your cookie just a tad, and it'll smooth it all out. Now, a lot of people that do this put the royal icing on a lot thicker than what I'm doing. And I'm not putting it on real thick because these cookies aren't thick. If you have the kind of cookies that you roll out that are a ½ inch thick or something, you can certainly put more on it. Personally, I just don't like cookies that thick. But another little technique, if you see that there's more icing on one part of the cookie than it is the other, you can always go back and put a little bit on top of it. I didn't hold this bag exactly right, so I need a paper towel. I'm fixing to get this all over me. This is how I usually do mine anyway, is put a paper towel on it. I got that one a little far over on the edge. Now, I didn't have a candy corn cutter. You could make your own, or you can freehand it if you don't want to order one. I probably have. I've given away several different times. I've given away literally dozens of cookie cutters. But I kept some that I wanted to keep too. So I ordered this cookie cutter the other day. I said, you know, I want a candy corn cookie cutter. I don't want to fool with trying to make a template. So I just ordered one. And the cookie cutters that I really like are Ann Clark's. They're made in the USA. They're very high quality. And they cost a little more than the other cookie cutters. But those are the ones that I like. Now, not all of my cookie cutters are Ann Clark's, but and I get them from Amazon, but a lot of them are. I try my best, if I can order something that was made in the USA. I do like to order. I do like to do that. Now, I don't always have that option, but I like to when I can. Okay, so our next one is going to be orange. And I think this paper towel is about seen its day. So where's my other one? There's my other bag. So this is for the orange. You can see I got a lot here. Do you see the air bubbles? I'm going pop them. So if you see air bubbles in the top of your icing, just take a scribe or a pick or like this popsicle stick and just bust them. I guess I should be pouring that where y'all can see it. This seems to be a little bit thicker than that other. We'll know in a minute. And it's going to start coming out the tip because this icing is thin because you want it thin because of the flooding technique. Okay, you also want to hold your bag upright. Yeah, this is definitely thicker than the other, but I think it's still going to be okay. Get my tip cleaned off here. I hope y'all can see this. I tried to fix the camera where you could see what I was doing. Okay. Just take your cookie and just give it a little shake. It's going to smooth it out. Now you want to do these one at a time because if you don't and you try to do all the colors, then you need to do this scribing and filling these empty spaces in because it will set and then you won't be able to get a smooth surface on it. So you want to do one color and one cookie at a time. Now I think, I don't know about, everybody's kids are different, but I think that a kid, as long as they're, used to being around the kitchen and anything, I think a kid 5 years old or older could do at least part of this. They might not could do it all, but again, that's the fun of letting kids do it. They feel like they've accomplished something, and if you don't teach them, and you just want to do it yourself because you don't want to clean up their mess, you're not teaching them. They need to be in the kitchen with you. Whoops, I knew that was going to happen. I'm not holding my bag right. I'll have to get another paper towel and get that cleaned up. You probably want to put a rubber band or something on the end of your bag so you don't do what I just did because it's coming out the other end. And some of you that do this probably on a regular basis, y'all probably laughing at me. I do like to take my time doing it. I don't like to rush. And like I said earlier, I'm definitely not a professional. But I have done it a few times too. All right, I'm just gonna fix this with another paper towel. Do this last one. And then I'm going to show y'all one more thing. Before I finish. Now, if you're packaging these up and you're going to bag them individually, like y'all saw my little machine that we did the other day when we were getting the cookies ready for Bear Creek, using the heat sealer. You want to let these set at least overnight so this can completely dry. And if you don't, when you bag it, the icing is gonna break. You're gonna see indentions in it, and it's not gonna be pretty. Now there's my corn candies. I'm gonna do one more thing to just show y'all, and I normally wouldn't do it on this cookie. Actually, I guess I could do one on a cookie that I don't have. Let's do it like this. Let's do some white. Just so I don't mess up those. Didn't quite get that all the way down to the tip. I'm going to show you 2 or 3 different things. This is called wet on wet, and this icing is still wet. It hasn't set yet. Okay, I did the dots, and I'm just going to do this little tiny flower in the middle. And then I'm going to show you how you can do like a line. The designs that you can make with cookie flooding are endless. And I'm not an artist. Like Mary's granddaughter, all of Mary's granddaughters actually are excellent artists, and especially Mindy. I mean, she is really phenomenal. So if you're an artist, or if one of your kids are an artist, they're definitely going to do probably a much better job than I did. But you can, you can drag it. You can do this and make little swirls. You can connect the dots. You can just do the little polka dots. There's just a lot of different ways you can make little flowers. My little flowers didn't get centered very good, but and you can do all different colored flowers. So that's just some different techniques that you can do. You can put some green on it, make it really look realistic like a flower. So I hope that y'all have enjoyed this today. Again, here's a little air bubble that I'm gonna pop. And just give the cookie a little shake if you pop an air bubble. I don't think I see any more. Okay, I think I'm finished. So we got this one. We've got our little corn candies. How cute is that? And then after I get off air, I'm going to do my pumpkins and try to put some depth in them. And I'll take pictures and show y'all when I get those finished. But I didn't want to take longer than the hour to do this. So I think I pretty much have done this in an hour. And again, it takes patience and it takes time to do this. But if you're just fixing this up for the kids, my suggestion is get your icing ready, get it in bags, put rubber bands on it. Don't fill it real full so it doesn't come out and get messy. You can buy little plastic or paper aprons for your kiddos if you don't want them to wear real aprons. I think they have them at the dollar store. Just put an apron on them. set them up a little station and let them go to work and have a good time. And this is an excellent time of year to do this with your kids. Winter months tend to be a little bit hectic because kids are inside more. So it doesn't even have to be a holiday or a special occasion. Just get your kids or grandkids one day when you know you're going to have them. Get all your stuff ready, bake some cookies, and just let them have a good time. I'll guarantee you they won't ever forget it. It's just something that stays with the kid. So I love y'all. Miss Mary today. We'll be cooking tomorrow here at my house. And be sure to join us then. And then we'll be at her house on Wednesday. So thank y'all so much for your love and support. Be sure to share and like our page, each video. It's very important that you do that. And if you're sharing it, make sure you're sharing this page, the correct page. I keep thinking we're going to wake up one morning and our numbers are going to be doubled. And that doesn't mean that that's what we're about. We just want our message to be more widespread than it is now. So thank y'all all, everyone that's helped us get to where we're at today. I love y'all. God bless you. Be sure to count your blessings, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.